Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another Cloudbeds live episode. My name is Paula. I'm a partner marketing specialist at Cloudbeds, and I'm the host of today's show. And today's episode is a special edition, because we're celebrating Earth Day a few days earlier, because Earth Day is actually April 22nd, but we should celebrate every day. So here we are. And sustainability is really an important topic for hotels and hostels all around the world. Travelers care about sustainability. I think we all do. We all a bit worry about what's going on with our planet. So I'm here today with a very special guest, Zoë Bowthorpe, travel experts, to share with us the best practice hotels and hostels can apply to become eco-friendly, because many times we want to do something, but we just don't know exactly how to start. So she's here with me today to help us with this task, with this quest. So she will explain the different certificates also they are available in the market, because it's something that many lodging business still are lost, because there are many in the market and not sure exactly what they mean or what to do to get them. So she's here. You can see already Zoë on the screen. But before I say hello to her, let me say hello to our audience. So we always have fantastic audience here every show. I'm very thankful for that. I know people are starting to join us as I speak. So welcome everybody again. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And please let us know where you're watching the show. We love to interact with the audience. That's the magic and the beauty of doing a live show. So don't be shy. Ask your questions. Write your comments. Your experience. Share your experience, maybe that you already have with sustainability and the hotel industry. So don't miss out the chance to ask directly to an expert your questions if you're wondering, if you're a hotelier or a hostelier watching us. So all right. So let me say hello to our guest. So I'm not rude. She's here waiting. So as I said, today's speaker is Zoë, hotel and hostel consultant and founder of Hostel Doctor, focusing on sustainability in backpacker tourism. So hello, Zoë. Finally, hello, Zoë. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning to those of you on the other side. It's great to be here. Thanks so much. And I'm really looking forward to talking about all things sustainable for hotels and hostels. And that's hopefully we can demystify it for the people listening.
Yeah, and let's make it like you said, and let's not make it not about theory, because it's important, of course, and let's make it practical. So I'm really excited that you are here. So we already chatted a little bit before, and as I told her, I'm here. I'm very curious about the topic, so I'm gonna ask her all the questions that I can, and I encourage all the audience to do that. But before we go jump into the questions, Zoë, can you tell us a little bit of a background in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, sure. So I started off in magazines and advertising a long time ago. And then about 15 years ago, I moved into tourism, working with hostels, hotels, tour groups. I worked with famous hostels for a while as the GM across Europe. And then I started doing consultancy. And the past 6 years, I've been working with Condé Nast Johansen's, with luxury hotels and spas. But I also still work with hostels and sustainability. So really looking how they can future-proof the business, be more environmentally friendly, and fulfill all the goals that we're looking for sustainable businesses. So
I love the background, because you go from luxury to hostels. I think that's really awesome. Must give you a very unique perspective.
Different every day. Some days you're in a luxury property, and other days it's very much about the backpacker business. So it's nice to see both sides. It's very different audience and target, but the principles for a lot of it are the same, for the business side and also the social side. So it's interesting.
Nice. I can see the people already saying hello to us. So yes, if I encourage them, I should say hello back. So Martina here, hello from Cambodia. Hello, Martina. Thanks for joining us. We have actually a very global audience because I can see each one is from a different country or part of the world. Hello from Costa Rica. Hello from, let me see this one, Costa Rica too. So yeah, Costa Rica, we are popular. Zoe in Costa Rica. We have hello from Indonesia. And yeah, here have Denise saying, you go, Zoe. Yes, we have a fan here. Said, from Europe's famous hostels. That's awesome. Yeah, so like I said, before people are still joining us, please interact with us. We love interaction. That's what makes, a live show a good show, in my humble opinion. So yeah, I can see already people starting to send some questions. But before we go to the questions, let's start with the basics, because sustainability, everybody talks about it. But a lot of people, maybe even me, to be honest, at the beginning, will reduce sustainability to just a few actions. And I guess it's a very narrow point of view. So if you can tell us, Joey, what does sustainability actually mean? And is this a just buzzword, or should hostels and hotels really care about it? Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not just a trend. I mean, we know sustainability at the moment is very much buzzing subject, but really this is something that hotels have been looking at for decades already. And there's a little bit more pressure now because obviously different rules and legislation is going to come into play, and sustainability isn't going to be so much a lifestyle option, but like the business decision. So that's one side. And yeah, we don't want people to think too much it's just climate action, not just about the environment, which of course is a really big part of it, but it's also the social side, governance, and the team, your people, your profit. And it's about making your business a future-proof business that's really successful. And for this, I mean, we usually use the definition from like the UN World Tourism Organization, which is it's about taking tourism into account. It's the current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts. So it's all those areas, and it look at addressing the needs of visitors, but also the industry, the environment, and local communities. So it's really about finding harmony and working forward so that we can have businesses that they're profitable, but also to local communities and the environment.
Oh, I love this definition because, again, for someone like maybe me, not now, because now I try at least to learn about the topic because I think it's an important one. But I think it's awesome. It's great, this definition, because it's not only, actions that hurt nature. You know what I mean? It's much more like, as you're saying, like social. I love the local being more involved. I think that's not only for the perspective of being sustainable, but also, to provide a unique experience to guests, that you're involved with the locals. Do you think that this is actually something that hotels and hostels are adopting, like they're working? Do you see that they're working more with the locals, or is still, I don't know, it's still in the very early stages of this?
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I mean, it's different depending on the location. Some hotels are very seasonal. You're always going to have seasonal workers where people come and go. But I think for the most part, the business plan tends to be working with local workers, upskilling the local community, trying to have local employees, but also exhibitions with local artists, inviting local musicians to play. There's all kinds of ways you can be part of the community, whether it's working with charities or NGOs, or you do beach cleans together, or you sponsor refugees, or there's so many projects at different places. I think it's very much about getting involved with the community in a way that is, well, obviously to reduce negative impacts of having too many tourists, but also really to include them in the experience so it's more authentic. And at the moment, everyone is looking for an authentic experience. When they travel, they want to get to know the location, delve a little bit deeper culturally, or the heritage, whether it's local food markets or, it could be all kinds of activities, but just to know a little bit more. I think it's a trend, but I think it's also here to stay.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Maria is saying here, greetings from Mexico. Thanks, Maria. Nico is saying, I think it's for you, Zoe, this one. Sophia cannot wait to have you in Athens and discuss about sustainability, Zoe. I guess you have someone.
See you next week.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's jump into the practical side of it, of the sustainability. Let's talk about different certificates. That's something that it's really important. I mean, it's not enough that a hostel or hotel claim to be I'm eco-friendly. Of course, you have to have something to back it up, to show travelers that it's actually real. I recently read news from Booking.com, and they announced that they are prioritizing third-party certifications that in its commitment to make more sustainable travel choices easier for everyone. So just to give an idea, to date, over 16,000 properties have a third-party sustainability certification displayed on Booking.com. So yeah, like I mentioned before too, like many lodging business might want to get a certificate, but they do not know which one to get or what they mean and what to do. So can you help us finding out about these different certificates and what they can do to at least to start the process?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot of hotels become a little bit overwhelmed by what they will have to do, what they will have to invest in terms of being a sustainable business. So we don't want people to panic or feel overwhelmed that they can't make a difference in terms of carbon footprint. It's really about just starting this journey. So certification or accreditation is obviously the end goal, but it's very much a journey. It can take years to get to be a perfectly sustainable hostel. That not everyone or hotel, not everyone's going to be perfect, but just to start the journey. So I think if we have to have the ambition there. So accreditation is really important, and there's Booking has their own certification, and Hostelworld has now started the staircase to sustainability. But the bigger known ones, especially in the hotel business, are EarthCheck, which is the biggest globally, and the global sustainability, the GSTC one. So I think people are more familiar with this, and Biosphere. There are lots of local ones, but essentially they all have the same ambition, which is to follow a certain amount of steps to make your journey, your business more sustainable. So taking into account like ESG, so environmental, social, governance. So the steps normally would be together a sustainability plan, making sure your team is engaged, and having like a roadmap. So in order to do that, you have to be able to know what you're measuring. So an audit, some kind of assessment, you need to know your water, your carbon footprint, your waste management. And then when you work this out, you can look at ways to save money, whether that's having, water systems or solar panels or all kinds of energy saving things. We also need to look at just reducing what we use. So, guest education is a big part of this, not running all the aircon all the time. There's so many different ways of doing things. And I think in different countries, especially if you're urban, you have different problems facing your hotel or your hostel. But it really is about just starting that journey. Sustainability it's ongoing. We want people just to get better, just to improve. So accreditation, great. But that's the kind of final step. We just need to start the conversation and start people believing that they can turn the ambition into action, because 1 in 10 jobs is in tourism. We know that tourism is responsible for such a huge employment and carbon dioxide footprint. We have to make some changes. And in terms of community, it's really important to not have negative impacts on community through over-tourism and environmental impacts. So sustainability really is accreditation or no accreditation. We just need to start the journey. But if anyone's looking, I would say obviously Hostelworld has a plan which works for hostels, Biosphere, GSTC, really good for hotels.
And is
so EarthCheck.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just that EarthCheck is the biggest, and I think people will be familiar with that. But some are more well-known in Europe, some in the Americas, some in Asia and Australia. So it really is about finding one that matches your business. And but yeah, people can ask us and happy to help.
I'm curious to know, Zoe, does it have I'm not sure if this applies or not, but does it have an average time to get Like how long it takes
a
to get a certificate? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while. It depends on the company that you used and then the availability of auditors, because they will send auditors to your property. You will need to put together a plan. They will need to do measurements over a period of time and show that there's improvement and intention to improve. You don't have to be perfect in every area, but it has to show that over time you have implemented a plan and you are getting better and achieving some of your goals. So it really is about setting targets, but these processes can take, it's not something that's very quick, and the auditing is quite strict. So you have to be quite organized, but it's a really good start. And it will help you business wise. 56% of investors are looking for sustainable businesses. So it's a good financial choice.
Yeah, that's good stats. No, yeah, didn't know that. And it's not only for the side of course, guests are demanding, the hotel industry to be more eco-friendly, but also if you think about money, which is always a good angle to think about things. That investors also are looking for, worry about that. So that's,
of course, every time there's any questions about guests and what guests want, we have differences, whether it's 70%, 80%, 90%. It depends on the survey, that really care about sustainability and look for sustainable properties when they book, whether that's the symbol on booking.com or the little green leaf, or whether they're really researching if a property works with local communities or charities. So it really depends, but there's also an intention gap there. So you can have up to 80% of people say we care about sustainability, and then they don't always book based on that choice. They still maybe book based on price or value or location. So it is important, and we are listening to guests because they are our market. But at the same time, this really has to be, it's more of a holistic view. We're doing this for climate change, for local businesses, for long-term plan, to protect our destination. There's lots of reasons. So it's an economic decision. It's also a social decision, and, it's environmental. We're trying to keep our destination a good place to visit.
Yeah, so. For sure. There are many reasons why we should invest in that, for sure. We have here a question from Suzanne in London. Let's see here what she's saying. Would love to hear your advice for hotels, given the upcoming European, green, and can hardly read, and I'm reading glasses, green claims directive regulations to ensure businesses put an end to greenwashing. Any thoughts about that, Zoe?
Yeah, anyone who's looked into this a little bit will be familiar with the EU Green Claim Directive, which has been big news at the moment, because legislation is changing. So people can't just say they're eco-friendly or environmentally friendly without backing this up with evidence. So there's always been a lot of greenwashing, sadly, but it's changing a little bit more, especially with supply chain and procurement. People are forced to look at where they're buying things from, and it's a little bit more evident now than it used to be. So, it's a big subject to cover. But yes, hotels really need to look into who they work with, who they partner with. And you will not be able to make claims that are false. So the governance side of the ESG plan really comes into play here, because you have to be transparent and accountable as a business with what your plans are. You can't just say we're eco-friendly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of eco-friendly resorts that they don't have legislation, and they destroy, there's deforestation or whatever to put this eco ranch. So you have to be really careful about what really is eco-friendly. And so, we need to get away from greenwashing and just be more transparent and accountable and honest with, not everyone is perfect. You can't always find renewable energy sources, or can't maybe make a financial decision for this, but in time we can try and improve it. So I think it's about being more accountable on these.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne, for your question. And we are already heading towards the end. This goes very fast. It's only a 30-minute live show. And when we have interesting topic, it goes even faster. So before we say goodbye to our audience, I have our last question here about the best practice, right? So we are already talking certificates. We already saying you already cover a little bit of it. But if I'm a hotelier or a hostelier and I want to start now, what can I do to start this process. And just also a little stats that I just found, and I thought it was interesting, like 60 hotel companies are already part of the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance, making up to 4.5 million hotel rooms, or 25% of total hotel room inventory globally. So a lot of, there is a lot of awareness. And yeah, so Zoe, if you can help our audience with best practice to actually be eco-friendly.
Well, we already know that we need to innovate in the business. We want to give guests what they want, but we need to be innovative with our business solutions. So business challenges that we're facing, we have to be transparent and accountable about how we can solve them, what solutions we can look for. So, I mean, we have to start with people. It always starts with the people. So your team should make sure everyone is trained, health and safety, rights, inclusion, diversity, happy, well-being, safe environment, all these things, including for your guests as well. So we start with the people and then customer engagement. From here, we can then look towards environmental changes that you can make, whether that's, where your power supplies, or how upcycling, how you use things around your hotel or your hospital, local communities, how you engage people. And then, of course, we have, beyond the environmental side, we have the profit side. So economically, you will be restricted on what you can do. To be realistic, not everyone can invest, but the problem is looking to see it as an investment rather than an opportunity. See the challenger rather than the opportunity means that you're going to fall behind in terms of being competitive business. So it really is like following the market. We know that people want a sustainable option. They don't always know how to go about it. So presenting them options is one way that we can go ahead with that. So the best practice really is just to be accountable as a business, make choices, to avoid greenwashing, look after your teams, make sure that you're up to date on all your certification, and that you are following all the rules, and that you're accountable, whether it's to stakeholders or to your guests, or you have a pledge for your customers. But just be clear about your aims and really follow those.
Yeah, I like what you say. You said more than once, and I think it's really important to be transparent or honest. I don't know what was the exact word you used, but that's the idea that I got. And then because I think maybe when I say we as a hostels or hotels can maybe oversell it a little bit, and I don't know, they don't feel comfortable sharing the limits of what they can actually do. So I think it's good that you encourage them to to face the facts. I would put it like this, to say say what it is and what can you do. And I mean, if you can do it all at once, start, and then I think you go from it. I think that's the idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's in a different position of what they're able to do. For some hotels, they have problems recycling, whether that's due to local amenity. You have restrictions wherever you are, whether you're in an urban area, or maybe recycling is no problem to you and you have waste management under control, or your whole place is solar powered. I mean, everyone has a different stage that they're at. So I think just focusing on the things that you can change easily, making those steps, and then looking towards the things that are maybe more of a challenge for your area, for your location or destination. It's different for everyone, especially if you're in urban, different countries. We know that everyone has a different legislation. In the EU, there's a lot of restrictions now, but there's also a lot of funds that people can apply to try and make changes. So it really is about doing some research, seeing what you can do, and making a plan for it, making a strategy, whether it's just to reduce your carbon footprint, to have to use innovation software, to digitalize, to upskill your team. I mean, before the pandemic, we had 1.9 trillion a year was spent on tourism. So the visitor spend is huge. There's a lot of money in this, and there's a lot of jobs at stake. And that means more than just, one business's profits. That involves a whole community and destination. So we really have to think about this being a long-term goal. So yeah. It's about making the plan, being effective and sticking with it, trying hard.
Yeah. Like I said, I guess there are many challenges to actually go through, but starting with the plan sounds like a plan. Because maybe I think the hotels, I don't know, that I talk with or hoteliers, like I said before, they don't know what to do and they just start doing random things. You know what I mean? Just to try to
plan. Yeah, you can. It's really hard to start something without a plan, and it's really hard if you don't know what you're measuring to see if there's any improvement. So first steps really are measure what you can. There's lots of free tools online for water waste, carbon footprint. Start measuring what you can and talk to your staff, talk to your guests, talk to your stakeholders. What do they want? What are their expectations? What do they see as long-term vision? Get their opinion, get their input. And make a plan. It might take 5 years, it might take 7 years, but ultimately it should benefit the business, benefit your guests, everyone, and it should be an economic investment. So,
yeah, that's a great tip to measure. It's a very basic, but maybe people
forget.
Yeah, people forget.
If you're getting better, if you're measuring anything, so we really have to assess, monitor, measure everything. And it sounds very boring and very strict, but it's really important. Yeah, it's really important. So,
no, but thank you so much, Zoe. Karina is saying very insightful topic. Thanks a lot, Paula. So thank you, Karina, for joining us. Like I said, this is very fast. It's already over. So I want to, first of all, thanks my guest speaker, Zoe here. Thank you so much. Zoe, I learned a lot from you, and I'm pretty sure the audience also got a better idea of what to do and how to start, which was our goal here. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks everybody for joining us, of course. Today it was great. Thanks for all the interactions. Next month we already have our next Cloudbeds live episode, and this time I'll be chatting with 2 special guests, and we will talk about reviews and revenue. So how reviews impact your revenue, your hotel's revenue. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. It was again a lot of fun to be here, and thanks, Joey, for joining us. If you don't follow Cloudbeds yet, please do on LinkedIn so you can stay tuned for what's coming next. And thanks everybody. Happy Earth Day. Bye.
Bye, Paula. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.